Okay, and I'm back. So it's been a while, huh? It's been a minute. I've been out for a few weeks, but I'm really out of it. I haven't really kept up with anything, but I managed to watch Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings yesterday. So I'm gonna give you my spoiler-free review and spoiler review at the same time. So I'm gonna start off no spoilers, then we're going to spoilers. Let's get into it. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
Okay, so hopefully that's good. I can hear myself. It's been a minute. I kind of forgot. You guys may not notice this, but I did a few changes. It's mostly behind the camera, so you really won't notice it. It was just like fixing a whole bunch of stuff in the background. Well, my background, the things that I look at. Maybe I'll show you a picture someday what the hell I'm looking at. And I also, I got these two. You guys might remember I used to have like a fantasy football belt there because I won the fantasy football league at the radio station, with a whole bunch of formal professional football players and professional, like sports people beat their asses, but I had to give the belt back because I gave up that job. But now I have BB8 there, and I have Red 3, so I made that one. The other one was not mine, but that one's mine. I'll show them to you later, because I've been around with the Florida. I went to Cabo for Thor's bachelor party. I did a bunch of stuff, and I'll get into those some other time. Today, I'm gonna, I'm easing back into things, because I haven't been here in a minute. I've been busy with other stuff. I got hired for another thing. It was a quick little thing. I'm still technically working on that, but less time, so I'm doing this again now. I'm all over the place. Sorry, forgot. I'm getting back in the handle of things. But speaking of handles, let me remind you that any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram and it's not Dario the Show anymore. At Dario SDW and at Super Dario World. Streaming on YouTube and on Twitch at Super Dario World. Eventually, I'm figuring that out. I signed up for some courses, and I need to figure out the schedule for that. So once I figure that out, I'll start figuring the schedule out for this thing, because I want to get back to doing this, because it feels weird not having done this for a while. And it's one of those things that when you're not doing it, it just keeps piling up, and you're like, oh, I gotta cover this, I gotta cover that, I gotta cover this, I'm behind on everything. Oh my god, yeah, it sucks. It's not a good feeling, but what can you do? Did it to myself. But the beauty of it is that I can do whatever I want, so I'll just go back at my own pace, and I'll slowly start catching up with all the things that I missed out. There's James Bond drama. There's a whole bunch of video game news. There's a whole bunch of news out there. I'll get into it eventually. Maybe. I don't know. I've been playing a lot of video games a lot, so that's been fun, because I've been on a plane a lot, and I've been playing with my Switch, so I've been having a lot of fun playing Switch games. I'll get into that. You know what? Let me just... I'm all over the place. I haven't done this in a while, and I guess I'm a little bit scatterbrained. But let me focus on this. I'll focus on this one because I wanted this one to be a little bit short. Let's get into Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So, overall, is the movie worth your money? Is it worth going to the movies? I saw it in Mexico. I had somebody else pay for my ticket, so yay, it's fine. The movie, if you're there for the martial arts, the best thing I can say about the movie is that it has really good fights in them. Mostly. They're interrupted by comedy, some of them, which sucks, but there's some of them that don't get interrupted, and they're really good. It has really good moments, martial arts, in martial arts, terms. So the main character, the main actor, Sean, really good fighter, at least on screen. His choreography is really good, so I'll give him that. That's fantastic. They keep adding comedy into fights that takes you out of the fight, that really pisses me off, but they don't do it in every single fight. Though, actually, the good fights are the ones where they don't do that, but there's fights where you're just like, shut up and let me focus on the fight. Stop taking me out of the fight. So that was annoying. The music's a little weird. They keep adding hip-hop to stuff and rap, and I'm like, but the score is really good. The score of the movie's fine. Why don't we just stick into the score? So I didn't particularly love that. The thing that I really did not like was Aquafina. Now, Aquafina, I don't think I've ever seen this human before in my life, but I did not like her, because she basically kept taking you out of it. She was comic relief, and it should have been there at the beginning of the movie. Just in the beginning of the movie, I would have been like, okay, that's fine, because his life was weird before. But she was there the entire movie, and it really annoyed me because she kept taking you out of it. She's the character that points out the ridiculous things that you're like, we're there for that. We accept it. It's a suspension of disbelief. You're ruining my suspension of disbelief. There's an iconic Marvel scene for that. I'm not sure what Avengers movie it was, but it's Hawkeye, where he's like saying, there's aliens flying around and robots, including robots and gods, and I'm fighting them with a bow and arrow. Nothing makes sense. and you're like, why are you pointing out the ridiculousness of the movie that you're in? You're taking me out of it. I was there. I was with you. I was there for the ride. I was enjoying it. I was enjoying the ride, and then you're taking me out of it. Why is this comedy? I don't get it. But anyway, so she's that character, and she annoyed me. And she's also the character that's like, I don't care. I'm going with you. And honestly, I wanted her to be killed off, because it's like, hey, he's a badass martial artist. You're a dumbass. And so you should have gotten killed because you went on a mission where you were going to be dealing with like badass assassins. So you should have gotten dead. Anyway, they didn't do that. But it's she annoyed me. But overall, the big issue with the movie is the story. There's a good story in there. It was not properly told. The ending was lackluster. Honestly, I was disappointed with the ending. I was disappointed with the fight at the end. I was disappointed with a lot of stuff. I expected more. I expected them to take this as a serious martial arts movie. It's not. It's a Marvelized version of a kung fu movie. So it's like a cartoon version of it, but not a good cartoon. They ruined the good fights with dumb stuff. If they would have actually taken this movie seriously, it could have been a fantastic movie, but they didn't. If they would have actually told the story properly, it would have been really good, but they didn't. They skipped maybe the most interesting fight in the whole movie. They kept inserting jokes that really didn't make any sense, and they kept taking you out of it. So I didn't particularly like that. But some of the fights are cool. So that's what I'll give them. That's what I'll give them. So is it worth your money? Sure. Is it the best movie? No. Is it the worst movie? No. It's right there in the middle of the pack. Nothing special. Nothing horrible. But that's it for the spoiler-free review. Now we're gonna go into spoilers, and I have a lot to complain about because a lot of things really annoyed me. So. The movie has let's say three cardinal sins, 3 unforgivable sins, and I'll go on the order of magnitude because I did this in Spanish already and I did it wrong. So in English, I'm gonna do it properly. So I'll go from the least terrible sin to the worst sin. All right. So the first sin, the fight at the end makes no fucking sense strategically. It's really stupid. It's really lackluster. Imagine there's 2 armies. They're going to face each other. Their armies are going to face each other to death, and they don't bring deadly weapons. I mean, they brought swords, okay? But I don't know. If I have a modern-day army, and I have guns, and I'm going to go fight against dudes that have shields and spears and swords and arrows, I would bring the guns. They didn't bring the guns. They brought like a crossbow that throws electricity. It was really weird, and the electricity wraps around you. And so it's like a super taser. Let's imagine like a really kick-ass taser to a fight to the death. I let's just say stupid. And that led to other. Let's just say the ending overall bad, terribly handled. There's a thing with an arrow that doesn't make any sense, and I'll get into that in a minute. But Cardinal Sin number 2. Cardinal Sin number 2. This is wrestling rules. Okay, anybody who's ever watched wrestling should know this. The heel cannot lose the first fight. The heel, remember that. That's a rule for anything. It's a rule for life. The villain, the antagonist, cannot lose their first fight. Why? Because it makes him no longer scary. It takes him from invincible to vincible. And in this particular case, it was extra stupid for other reasons, and I'll get into those in a minute. So, here's what happens in the beginning of the movie, the very beginning of the movie. The beginning of the movie starts with them telling you how much of a badass the dad is. The dad is the antagonist, by the way. How he had the 10 rings. Nobody really knows how he got the 10 rings. No, it's never really explained. But he got the 10 rings, made him immortal, gave him superpowers. He became the conqueror of the world, and we've never actually heard of him in any history books or whatever. But whatever. Super badass guy, right? Super powerful. And he hears of this little town, this real crappy little town, where the people there practice the martial arts of the gods, and there's mythical creatures there, and he's like, I want to go fucking find that little stupid town. So he goes there, and in the outskirts of the town, he meets this really hot chick, and he's like, I like her. But the chick is like, I'm going to kick your ass. And what proceeds to happen is the chick kicks his ass using the magic martial arts. And so, in the very beginning of the movie, you see the main antagonist get his butt kicked by a girl from the magical town. Are you with me? This is a terrible way to present a villain because it shows you that he has a very massive weakness. There's only one situation where it's okay to show the villain losing in the first fight of the movie. There's only one. And that situation is called Lord of the Rings. Because otherwise, none of the movie makes any sense. But other than that, doesn't make any sense. It's a terrible move. It's a terrible idea. Anyway, so we see him get his ass kicked by the mom, and all right, let's say it's a forgivable thing, except it's not, and let me explain why. Because afterwards in the movie, the mom dies. It's very sad. She dies when Sean is like 6 years old, and the dad believes that her spirit is caught in the other town, and he's like, I'm gonna go find that stupid magical town. I'm gonna kick their asses. I'm gonna get my wife back. So, as he's trying to go there, I was left thinking, the guy got his ass kicked by a girl from that town, meaning that the people from that town, well, who practice that particular martial arts of the gods, are more powerful than they are, right? Like, the people from over there know something that he doesn't, and he's gonna go fight them in their home turf where their mythical creatures are, and he already got their ass whooped by just one of them, and he's going to go face a whole town of them. It seems kind of like a stupid idea, and it seems kind of like the villain should have gotten his ass whooped very quickly over there. So to me, it's like, not scary anymore. You're not scary anymore. It was stupid. It's a terrible idea. Whoever made that decision is a dumbass. Capital D, capital A. Anyway, let's continue to Cardinal Sin number 1. This is, to me, the most unforgivable thing in this entire movie. I can accept the villain losing. Like I said, it's been done before. They did in Lord of the Rings. But the biggest flaw this movie has, and it has a lot of them, is that the most interesting fight in the movie, the most exciting one, the one that I wanted to see the most, was not shown on film. And the whole situation surrounding it was really stupid. It was stupidly handled. Let me explain. So, the fight I'm talking about is the fight where the mom gets killed. Here's what happens. So, after the mom falls in love with the dad, they decide, all right, since we can't live in this little town because the town doesn't like the dad because the dad's kind of an asshole, the mom decides, all right, deuces, adios with you guys. I'm going to give up my powers, and I'm going to go live with that guy. And the guy's like, all right, if you're giving up your town and your powers for me, I'm going to do the same. And he takes off the 10 rings, and he stops being immortal. And so he becomes just like a regular badass dude and regular badass chick raising a couple of badass children, right? So one day the dad's not at home, and the mom's teaching, I don't know, dumb stuff to the kids. And all of a sudden, a group of former enemies of the dad show up at the house. And they're like, well, we're here to kill the guy because we heard he doesn't have powers anymore. And she's like, well, he's not here. And they're like, well, we're going to kill somebody. And you're here. And she's like, well, keep the kids out of it, and it's cool. And so they're like, all right. And so the kids go inside the house, and she gets ready to fight 6 dudes, and all of a sudden it's like 30 dudes. And we don't see the fight. She gets ready for the fight, and we only see the kid's reaction. He's like, oh no, mommy. And we see the aftermath of her being dead. So a lot of things are wrong with the situation. First off, how fucking stupid can you be if you're the bad guy? Well, the bad guy in that situation, and you're like, hey, you know that guy who we hate and who wanted to destroy us and who's immortal and has superpowers? He gave those up. Let's go and fucking kill him. And then you go over there and he's not there, and you're like, all right, fine. Well, his kids are there, and his wife's right there. And I'm assuming somewhere in this house, there's got to be the 10 rings. And the 10 rings are like the source of this dude's power, right? So either we kill everybody, because, vengeance, that's how you deal with stuff. You kill everybody. Or we take the 10 rings, and then we find him. Can we have the superpowers, and then we kill him? Or we could, and hear me out, we could let the kids live because, it would be mean. And we could kill his wife, and we could leave the 10 rings there, and we could just, leave. And then somebody's like, hey, do you think that would just, kind of like piss him off and make him want to kill us? He'll get it. It's cool. He'll understand. He'll be like, to let my kids live. I can't just put on these rings again and go kill him. That wouldn't be cool. So, all right. So first off, dumbasses. But here's the thing that annoyed me about the scene, that they didn't show it. Imagine this scene. Mom is at home taking care of the kids, trying to teach them martial arts or whatever. 6 dudes show up. 6 dudes turn into 30, and they're like, "We're here to kill your husband." And she's like, "He's not here." And they're like, "All right, fine. We're gonna kill you and the kids because he's not here. And then we're gonna find the 10 rings, and then we're gonna kill him." And she's like, "Over my dead fucking body." And we get to see a fight of the badass mom taking down the 30 badass motherfuckers to the death, sacrificing herself, fighting to the last ounce of strength to save her fucking kids, or to prevent them from getting the 10 rings. Or you know what? Maybe at one point in the fight, the kid gets the 10 rings, and then he uses that to try to save the mom, but it's too late. Stuff like fucking that. You know what? You know what that would be good? You know what that was called? A good fucking fight. And you know what that called? A good fucking scene. Could you imagine that? Mom fighting to the death to save her kids against 30 dudes, kung fu style, like martial arts style. That would have been fucking phenomenal. Freaking that's Kill Bill's got nothing on this bitch, all right? And they didn't do it. It's called a wasted opportunity, and to me, it's the most egregious thing in this entire film that they did not show that scene. They did it off screen, and I fucking hate them. Anyway, so that's Cardinal Sin 1, 2, and 3. There's also other bunch of stuff, and it kind of has to do with this dumb chick. Like, they gave her at the end, they released like this big, massive demon who's, imagine like a flying dragon Cthulhu, and there's a Chinese dragon there, and it's kicking the dragon's ass, and it's going to steal its soul. And so while it's sucking its soul, for some reason, Shang-Chi ain't doing shit. He's just like hanging on to the dragon instead of actually being useful. And so the dragon is trying to suck, well, the demon is trying to suck the dragon's soul, and they're like, "Oh no, if it sucks the dragon's soul, we're all dead because it becomes super powerful." And so Aquafina, who literally a day before learned how to shoot an arrow, points an arrow at it. The arrow is special. It's made out of dragon scales. It points the arrow at the giant demon thing, shoots it at it, and the arrow hits it right in the neck. Massive neck. Imagine this thing is the size of a skyscraper or bigger. And it just goes through. Like imagine like if a bullet went through my neck right now. And you're just, I was like, that's such fucking bullshit. That's not how arrows work. That's not, arrows should have been like, get stuck in it, and the dragon should be like, "Ah, fuck you, you stupid little thing." Like a mosquito bite. Because, again, imagine shooting an arrow in a skyscraper. Also, you're shooting up, so you're against gravity, and this is a giant winged dragon monster. It's flapping its wings. The wind should have blown the arrow away, and it didn't do it. Also, let's just talk a little bit logic here. The thing is eating a dragon's soul. It kicked the dragon's ass, basically. It's dominating it, and it's eating its soul. Meaning, giant demon monster thing, stronger than dragon, right? So, demon thing, stronger than dragon. And this chick throws an arrow made out of dragon scales at the guy. So, let me see if I got this. So, teeny tiny dragon scale arrow, stronger than massive kick-ass full dragon that the arrow is made out of. Really? Seriously? How stupid do these writers are? I mean, first off, how stupid do you think we are? Second, you couldn't have come up with a better fucking idea, a better fucking scene? Something that actually makes fucking sense? No. Stupid. It is beyond stupid. Terribly made. I hated it. Anyway, so you take all that stuff out, and it's actually a pretty decent movie. Because the fighting's okay. Like I said, the fighting's really good. There's a couple of scenes that the choreography is really good. You can tell if the guy knows how to fight. But story-wise, terribly done. And 3 major mistakes. The ending sucks. The villain loses the first fight. Well, the antagonist loses the first fight. And they did not show the most interesting fight in the entire film. So, there you go. If you want to see it, see it. If not, wait for it to be on fucking Disney Plus or whatever. Or, yo-ho, a pirate's life for me. Anyway, that's it for today. I don't know what else to say. I was massively disappointed. I expected more. I expected it to actually be a legit Kung Fu film. But it wasn't. Anywho, that's it for today. As always, any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram and at Dario SDW and at Super Dario World. Streaming on YouTube and on Twitch at Super Dario World. I'll keep you posted again. I'm really out of it. I haven't done this in a while. I need to shake some rust off. But tomorrow, I don't know. Next episode, I'll probably catch you up on how Florida was, how Cabo was, what I've been doing this whole time. I've been busy, kind of, in a way. I was also sick, so that kind of sucked. But anyway, that's it for today. As always, thank you for listening, and I'll see you again next time.